Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Welcome. It is November 12th and today might be our day. Futures trading with speculator Seth. Serious day trading. So the reason why it might be our day, I'm trying to find it over here, but it's already gone. But this morning I was visited by Money Pigeon and I upvoted within 5 seconds, and it says that now I'm going to become rich. So today could be our day. But also, if we go over to the charts, we appear to have a two-way market. So here, there's been some pretty good support down here below, like let's say 125.05. It's kind of a little rising, but it's not exact. But here they've hit it a couple of times now. There's 1, 2, and then overnight they did it again. And you can see this seller seems to be pretty insistent, even holding it even lower this time overnight. But a pretty good bounce there. So the market may be turning around. I'm not too sure, but also Donald Trump is going to be speaking at an economic forum this morning. Let's see here. Let's go to the news. By the way, E-mini, slightly up. Let's come back over here. Okay, so Tuesday. Oh, that's not right. It is Tuesday, November 12th. President Trump speaks at 10 a.m. So after I'm gone, I'm not going to be here when it happens. But it is happening. And also tomorrow we got CPI. So we kind of have an interesting situation where the market, we might have a two-way market. We might go both ways here. And we might get some good scalping. So I'm excited about that because it's just been like a trending market or like a go nowhere market. And today we have a situation where it's going to want to go, but the direction is unclear, which is kind of fun. So how are you guys this morning? Wynn says, good morning. On this day in history, Sir Timothy John Tim Berners-Lee, a British computer scientist, published a formal proposal on the creation of the World Wide Web. Oh, that's very interesting. By the way, let's turn on a robot. I think that we've got her all set up and good. Even though we're not reducing the number of requests we send, I think that, it should be much more responsive than we were having before. So, hold on. I will. It's starting. Hold on, Win. It's starting. No, she hasn't. She already said it. November 12th, Beaver Moon. This month's full moon occurs this month on Tuesday, November 12th at 8:34 a.m. Eastern Time. The moon will appear the night before and after its peak to the casual stargazer. Cool. All right, guys. Well, what do we got going here on the DOM? See, there's actually, we got 25s. 25s put up on the DOM. I mean, that's not bad. I would say they're trading an okay clip on the 30s. They're trading an okay clip on the 30s. We shall see. I'm just going to pop in here and...
Speculator Seth says test.
Okay, so I think we're good. Should be able to step away from that particular screen and show you guys and keep an eye on Twitter. By the way, Donald Trump has been tweeting this morning. Alligator says, well, it's that real 3 ticks market, alas. And that doesn't look like it's gone very far since that opening range. Okay, so what has Donald Trump been saying? I will be releasing...
Winston's mom says Mercury is in retrograde and today is a full beaver moon. Careful with the wonky computers when you trade today. Can't blame FOMO when those computers go wonky today.
Yeah. Well, I think there could be some good opportunities, but we're gonna keep it tight if we catch them, right? Donald Trump. I will be releasing the transcript of the first and therefore more important phone call with the Ukrainian president before the week's end. So there's another transcript and he's releasing it, guys. That's interesting. Donald Trump also says the economy is booming, seems to have yet another record day. Well, they're not all-time high, but yeah, whatever. He likes to hawk up the market, doesn't he? Many people in the DACA no longer very young are far from angels. Some are very tough, hardened criminals. President Obama said he had no legal right to sign the order, but I would anyways. If Supreme Court remedies with overturn, a deal will be made with Dems for them to stay. Interesting that he's talking about that. What else we got going on in the news this morning? Mass chemical attack on school in China leaves 54 injured, mostly children. Ooh. I think that this is going to tick up, but it looks incredibly. It's a very zippery. It's a very zippery right now. That is a tough zipper, folks. That is a tough zipper. Let's see here. We got anything else going on? Just kind of looking around. Nope, we're doing well on the YouTube, by the way. I have to give you guys extra thanks. By the way, I'm wondering. So here, let's pull it up. Let's look. How are we doing? Actually, here, let me get to it first, and then so I'm not covering stuff up. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so our video from yesterday, not bad. 168. Let's look at the analytics that we get and where are the people coming from. Hey, it's up towards the top of our videos. It's done. It's one of the best. It's done as well as the one that is like futures. What's the best futures trading software platform? So I think we're getting some pretty good authority. Audience retention 54. Okay, so that's not as good as the last one, but still over 50%. Very good.
Winston's mom says Yahoo Finance. Daily swing chart tech analysis. The main trend is up according to the daily swing chart. A trade through 3097.00 will signal a resumption of the uptrend after 2 days of sideways price action. Winston's mom says this will also shift momentum to the downside. Winston's mom says the nearest main bottom is 3020.25. A trade through this bottom will change the main trend to down. The minor trend is also up. The minor trend changes to down on a trade through 3063.00.
Through from Yahoo Finance. Well, those are technical levels. I don't know if they're how reliable they are, but why do I have
Winston's mom says how did the video titled Chinese bots do? That title was great.
That one did really well, in fact. So hold on, I want to see what's the click-through rate. 7.1 and engagement, audience retention. It hasn't been up long enough for me to see the where people tune out. Okay, so if we come back here, I think it's even still getting yeah, see, it's even still today. Even today, it's still getting views. It's still getting a decent number of views. So for some reason, though, the live stream ones don't show me the overall thing, but we need to do since uploaded. 161 is pretty high for that, for a live stream one. So normally we get around 80. And look, like people are actually coming to it from YouTube search. That's interesting. Where are they finding it? What are they searching for? YouTube search. Futures trading live, speculators set. Oh, somebody actually searched for me and clicked that video. Wow. Anyways, so I was wondering if you guys watched that video from the other day, yesterday's video, why day traders should trade futures. Can you say quote cult 3 times fast? Because I cannot. I'm not even going to embarrass myself. My wife tried. She can't do it. I bet the robot could do it. Maybe the robot could do it. But I don't know. That was just a fun little phrase that we'd come up with.
Winstanza Mom says if I watch one of your videos, say 5 times, will you see my views 5 times or only 1? I wonder because I sometimes watch them again and if I can affect those numbers like that.
Well, so it won't count as a unique viewer, so it doesn't matter as much, but it still helps. Because like for instance on the engagement part, it will show me on the video timeline where people have rewatched parts. And you usually use that kind of metrics to say either 1, they really liked that part, or 2, you weren't very clear and you could have elaborated better and they had a hard time understanding it. So it definitely kind of will show up in the metrics, but the thing I've noticed is like if I go to work and I use my other, because I have 2, when you create a channel, it creates another YouTube account and it treats that other YouTube account like or any other person, like a regular person. And so if I watch it with my other account, I immediately notice more people getting sent to the video. And it still hasn't moved. Well, I guess it says it's ticked up. Also, I'm noticing here that it's showing all of my indicators here. Where do I have that on a chart? Where do I have that on a chart? Where do I have stats on a chart? Not that one. Ew, you hear my stomach is doing stuff today. Here? Where do I have stats on a chart? Oh, you're hiding here somewhere. Must have like hidden it from the chart or something. Now I'm going to have to go on to all of them and look at the indicators.
Winstanza Mom says what if I watch a video sometimes again and then stop it in the middle? Do you worry that part was boring or do you even concern yourself with that? The kids do sometimes.
It would take a lot of people doing that for it to really show up and stick out to me. Okay, down tick. Fairly significant. I didn't hear clicks though. Did not hear clicks. It's like my stomach decided, okay, he has food. We can move everything through the pipeline and I can just feel all of the stuff moving through my digestive system. Ugh. That's probably a gross description that you don't want to hear. Huh? Indicators. Man, where is it? I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you so you can run and tell that homeboy. That one doesn't have any indicators on it? Huh, okay. I don't have any indicators on my oil chart. As it should be.
Uzi Knesset says mornin'. Michael
Good
XC
morning,
says,
Uzi.
Seth, do you have any experience with the Trade of 8 demo on Jigsaw?
The Trade of 8 demo, I have not used it. Although I hear good things about Trade of 8.
Michael XC says it disconnects for me quite often.
So they're using CQG data, right? I think they're using CQG data. Well, that's curious, Michael. Yeah, I would try contacting their support. I really wouldn't even know where to start. That's really seems really weird to me. Export levels, spread candles.
Winstanzamam says maybe not having a
somewhere.
state-of-the-art microphone has its advantages when it does not pick up any stomach gurgles. If you disappear suddenly, I will cover for you. Lol. Michael XC says they use CQG but more symbols like Eurex and the CBOT bonds like ZF and ZT that I can't get on a regular CQG demo.
Oh yeah, so on the CQG demo they don't give you ZF, which is funny. They're clever. They know that a bunch of people out there want to trade the no BS day trading style, and so they don't show you the ZF on purpose. And there's some good ZF tells you good stuff. Man, where is it? Maybe there's one hiding here. Like maybe if I show tabs. No. Although, you know what? I do want this one right here. I want to duplicate and like do this one on a 1 minute chart to see if
Michael
my
XC
indicator
says
shows me
MT5
something.
seems quite stable as a feed for Jigsaw. They also use CQG.
Yeah. Well, it's I forget that is MT the name of the platform that they use at Trade08? There's a weird name for it. Big or Miss Big says feels like everyone's a little tense about Trump's speech.
Michael XC says no.
No,
Uzi
that's not
Knesset
it.
says MetaTrader 5.
Oh yeah, MetaTrader 5 is. MetaTrader 5 is not the most. That's the one that everybody uses for currencies, and they don't like because they use
Michael
it for
XC
currencies.
says I'm talking about the AMPMT5.
Yeah, I haven't used that one. So I've definitely used CQG data before, and I've used Rhythmic data before. I've used NinjaTrader. I've done a demo with who are these guys? Stage 5 trading once before.
Uzi
And
Knesset says I don't care for MetaTrader. Spent too many years toiling away on that platform.
see what I'm saying? It's like you get bad bad vibes from it because you did it with currencies. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I'm gonna find it. The thing is it's only
Uzi
capturing
Knesset
11
says it's a
days.
great platform if your life goal is to be a coder. Person shrugging.
Really? Okay, well, we're getting a pretty good downtrend here, but it's really
Michael
hard to try
XC
and...
says just talking about using it as a stable demo feed with lots of symbols for Jigsaw.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael. I think that Trade08 has a pretty good deal going on because chances are, if you're trading every day in the treasuries, you are going to end up spending more than $100 a month in commissions. You'd have to do the math, get it all proper, because there's a difference between the exchange commissions and the broker commissions. But I'm pretty sure that when I'm actively trading, I spend more than $100 on commissions. So I think for most beginners that you would save money with Trade08, and that alone, and I know that John Grady, that's what he's been using. So.
Uzi Knesset says what's Trump speaking about that's so important it's on the econ calendar?
Right? Right? The funny thing is he's, I don't even know. Okay, so due to deliver brief remarks at the Economic Club of New York.
Winstanzamom says pricing on Jigsaw through another trading platform, $75 monthly, $990 lifetime installment plan available for 4 months. Ouch, that's expensive for a newbie to play with.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jigsaw itself is like $500 to start. And then $50 a month or something like that. And then if you add that on top of paying for another platform that has a similar pricing scheme.
Michael XC says commissions free as $199 month upfront for the year.
For Jigsaw? So keep an eye out in December. Pete usually will do a deal where you can buy
Michael
a whole...
XC says trade of 8.
Yes. Oh, it's $199 a month now? I thought it was $100 a month. Maybe they changed it. That might not... You might have to be trading a lot to get that, for that to help. Somebody like John Grady probably does, but for me...
Michael XC says it was before.
So it was too cheap for them, I'm tempted to buy this at 07.5. Seems like it's... Yeah, you can even see it on this one. It seems like they're turning here. I don't know if I'm... you know what? I think I should. Well, I couldn't find which chart has the stats on it. It's hiding in there somewhere. In my opinion, we can see more divergence in EU-US bonds before Trump's speech. Oh, they went away from me. Too late. Well, anyways, on Trump's speech, the funny thing is maybe he doesn't say anything, significant. Let's move this microphone a little bit and tip it like that, so that when I look down at it, I can see it straight on. And that way I know it is like directly pointed at me. I was listening to it the other day. You know what? Oh my gosh. Not that this is like a terribly interesting story, but I had to upgrade my work laptop to Windows 10. I'd been putting it off because I had so many things installed on there, and a lot of it was like specific to Windows 7. But they finally, I changed roles and everything, so it was finally time to do it. So I changed it. And that computer has like the default sound setup thing has like all sorts of weird EQs and stuff put on it. So I go on there and I start listening to my stream, and I'm like, this doesn't sound right at all. I mean, it sounds like a boomy and stuff, but it's not supposed to sound this way. And it took me like a good 30 minutes to figure out that the audio enhancements were on, and I turned it off. But once I turned it off and I listened to it, I was like, holy cow, that microphone actually is way better than the Yeti. It's like way deeper. The voice is way more rich. I really like it. Although I still kind of want to get that Shure, what is it called? Shure 55 SM, just because it looks cool. But I think I'm going to have to do a ton of other stuff to do that. Like, I think that I'm going to need to get the cam link so that I can connect my DSLR up to the computer, and then I'll have a wider angle of a lens, and then maybe I'll put it over here so that it's, hopefully there's enough room back there for my tripod.
Winstanzamom says your mic sounds good. News breaking: market insider stocks making the biggest moves pre-market. Disney, Visa, Dean Foods, Tyson Foods and more, published Tuesday, November 12th, 20,198 to 21 a.m. Est.
Ooh, I'm wondering, okay, so that's interesting. They came up and they're pushing back down like it was a false breakout. I want to see Disney, because there's a guy on Twitch that I watch from time to time when I'm at work. I don't know. He's okay. I like him. His name is The Stock Guy, which isn't the most creative name, but still, he's fun to watch. It's kind of weird though. I feel kind of conflicted
Michael
because
XC says, yeah, you don't want those round flat mics that make everyone sound manly. Sure, it sounds nice, but bass is distracting.
yeah, you don't want it too bad. I feel kind of conflicted because he's not really my kind of guy. There are some things that I find kind of irritating about it, but he's also interested in markets and he says the right things. Like he understands things that are going on. He's not into futures. So I'm trying to proselyte to him to convince him to do futures, but he does. It seems to me like he used to day trade with options and he lost too much money and stopped doing it, which is okay. But anyways, and he was playing a small play on Disney. And yesterday it was kind of going down. Oh, but they're up. They're up big time. Oh, wait, is that right? Oh, they were up on the 8th. So that's not the way that you wanted his play to go. Oh, I see. It went up on the 8th and he wanted it to come back on the 11th. And it did. Okay, so it's coming down. He's probably down on it, right?
RFO Trader says, hi Seth, is it possible to have my Twitter feed set up for Vox as you have to read out members chat?
Is it, so I have worked on, yeah, that's a good question. I've done a bit of work on Twitter and being able to read out tweets. And the problem that I ran into with it
morning.
was that their API has like an undocumented bug feature thing where it was like the request that I was doing to get from a group. I was doing it from a list. I wanted to read all of the tweets from a list and it wouldn't do it. But we can totally, if there was one...
Wrong ZH says morning.
If we had one Twitter account that we were, gave us everything that we wanted, like maybe we could do Rand Squawk or something like that, then it could totally read things out for us. But I kind of like keeping an eye on the Twitter. I don't know. I can look at that. I also want to
RFO Trader says was thinking about having it on my tweet deck for news.
Yeah. It would be useful to have it read things out, right? It's just that when I was looking at it, it seemed like I could only do it for one person. Does that make sense? Like it would only read out all of the tweets from one specific person. Which might not always be the most useful. At that point,
RFO Trader says thanks. Michael XC says, Seth, you were saying something about Pete in December, but I think you didn't finish.
Oh, real? Oh, did I not finish that? Yeah, let me go back to that. In December, Jigsaw usually runs promotions. So there's almost always a promotion that will allow you to buy the full years of the live trading for a little bit cheaper.
Ace Trade says looking for a short in the 3087 area.
Let's see here. Bitcoin is acting kind of weird, by the way. Let's see if
Michael
they sell.
XC says cool, thanks.
Okay, so I can see what he's talking about here. I can see there's a little bit of 3086.75 area. A little bit of support, or that's where the volume traded at least.
Winstanzamam says good morning Ace Trades, when you get a chance, there is a video. Sway with me and Dean Martin. Now there is a dance that is sway worthy.
I like that trade because it's in line with the momentum.
RFO Trader says thing is with the annual live license is that if after 6 months or so you decide not to use it, there's no refund.
That's why I went to month to month. And the thing is I don't trade it live during the summer, for instance.
IQ says Jigsaw turning into sales, more marketing BS.
You think so? Well, they definitely have been doing a lot of work with other people. For instance, they're selling education and they're selling mentoring. I think the mentoring with Pete would probably be totally worth it. But I'm skeptical of the training courses that they're offering. I mean, it's not, well, I guess I guess the price that they're asking for their training courses is reasonable, but should I say reasonable? It seems to be in line with market prices, I guess.
Winstanza Mom says, does Jigsaw sell t-shirts, coffee mugs, and books?
No. We need to sell. I want to sell t-shirts.
IQ says lol. IQ says yep.
It's the education thing that bothers me. It's just like I'm sure that it's a good education course, and I'm sure that you would learn a lot of stuff from it. But I just think that in the long run, the market is the best teacher, and you're going to have to learn from the market one way or another. And so it's like you're going to do this education, and then you're going to go through it again with the market anyways. And so you might as well just save your money. That's kind of like my take on it right now. But I've never taken one of those courses, you know. And another thing is I think a lot of us, and when I say us, you know, I mean like us guys that have been trading for a while, maybe even a couple of years, and maybe
IQ says morphed from helping traders to helping, lol.
Yeah. You know, those of us that have been trading for a while and we're still not having as much success as we would like, for instance, I really don't think that an education course like that.
Look it up. Lol.
I think it's.
RFO Trader says Jigsaw is now in bed with all of the typical trading educators.
Well, I think that they're working with Axia, right, which is okay, but yeah, I don't think that an education course is going to be what makes that kind of a trader turn into a successful trader, you know? So, whatever. I'm kind of sensitive to it. So like in my video yesterday, I gave a little shout out to Matt from Optimus Futures because from what I've seen from them, and I haven't actually used them as a broker yet, but
IQ says they're working on liberating your money from you. Yeah. Uzi Knesset says trading is the only thing that'll make you successful, lol.
There you go. But you know, I've done a ton of research. Like I read through that whole futures IO thread and everything like that. And the thing that really stands out to me,
sitting at 3,086.75 if it hits.
The thing that stands out to me about them is that they have way better customer service. Like when you call in to Amp Futures, you typically get this guy that they're maybe kind of a technical guy and they're not really like into trading. And when you call the guys over at Optimus, you get somebody that would be like me, like that's really into it.
Speculator Seth, you might consider a neti pot. If you use one regularly, you will reduce the sinus or allergy issues that you appear to have. Pull on your ears and see if your sinus opens.
Pull on your ears and see if your sinus opens? I don't think that's it. I have a deviated septum. I need to get a nose job. You can kind of tell on some of the videos with the nice camera, you can see my nose is kind of twisted. I think that this year will fix it. So it came back down and now they're buying it up. So I suppose that trade would have been good, but you can see it's still pretty close and range bound. So I'm not so sure that this is necessarily our best spot. But the fact that it's turning back up could be positive for Ace's trade. Although I don't think that he's got into it yet, right? It hasn't come back down. Anyways, if you're somebody that's like, you don't feel like you're very technically competent, like it's hard for you to learn new platforms and to figure all of these things out, it seems to me like Optimus Futures is like your best place to go.
Ace Trade says no, taking it off.
Always taking it off. And so, you know, I mentioned them, and it didn't pay me to do it. Although you guys know, and I said in the video that I've been working with them, right? So I guess I'm a little bit biased that way. But it was like I was a little afraid to do it because I was like, well, I am.
Michael XC says Optimus commissions are really high, though.
They are. Well, I wouldn't say really high, but yeah, you were paying more.
Says I had rhinoplasty for a deviated septum. It was easy peasy. Take arnica to reduce bruising and watch for sore spots on your sinus cavity to avoid an infection and consider the neti pot until surgery. Michael XC says GFF2. Seems these multi-FCM guys have high commissions.
Well, I mean, the thing is when you think about Optimus, right? So they get cleared through AMP, right? AMP is an actual FXCM, and Optimus is just a broker. So yeah, you are going to get cheaper than AMP. Now, if you trade for them, or not for them, but I mean, if you trade with them, like you can do deals with him. He's told me that he's worked out commissions, and you can work out a lower commission, especially if you're like already trading and you're
Michael
already
XC
trading a
says
decent
Optimus
amount of.
has a bunch of FCMS.
Can you do it through other people? Well, anyways, but he told me that most of his customers come from other people. He said that most of his customers, like, they were trading with AMP and then something bad happened and they felt like they wanted better support, and so they came over to Optimus because they had better support. And in a situation like that, when you have somebody that's already pretty profitable and is trading a decent amount of volume, then he's willing, of course you're willing to bring down the commissions then at that point, right? So if that's you could give that a look. But you're right, it's more expensive, no question. But
Michael XC says yes, definitely support is their thing.
Yeah. But the counter to that is, if you're at that point, commissions probably isn't the thing that's holding you back, if you're at that point. And so I think that at that point it's worth it to you to have somebody that's willing to walk you through things and hold your hand. So, but I just didn't want to be like, oh, you're selling out sort of thing. From my point of view, I want to help everybody. Like any service out there that's coming to me, if it's an actually good service, and I'm going to look at it and I'll make sure that they actually have a good service. But if they do, I'm totally, I would like to alert everybody, because I feel like that here in the futures market that we don't have a very consistent community, and that it's hard to get the word out on things sometimes. Like, if you guys did not see on my Twitter, by the way, follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook too. I don't post on Facebook a ton, but I'm trying to build up my Facebook. I think I'm going to make a LinkedIn too. Well, I have a LinkedIn account, but I think you can make a page
Michael
on LinkedIn.
XC says, yeah, but I'm talking about quotes for commissions 2 to 3 times higher than discount brokers. My friend had such a quote also.
Well, we'll look. We can talk to him. Well, I'll tell him that people were asking that, saying that it was 2 to 3 times higher. I don't think it was 2 to 3 times higher though. He was telling me, he was like, tell me what you're getting right now, and I'll see what we can do. Because I want to open up a second account, so that I can like switch. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter, do so. But we retweeted yesterday. Futures Trader 71 has started a petition to get micro oil. So if you have not signed the petition for micro oil, I would encourage you to do so. We're getting an okay buy here. I'm kind of regretting not taking that trade when it came back. It came down. See, it did this, and then it came back down, and I said, well, now I don't want it. And then it took off anyways. So I don't know. I think that I did the right thing by my own strategy, but it kind of makes me question if that's really something that I should be concerned about or not.
IQ says, is it worth purchasing lifetime license for NinjaTrader? Michael XC says, what about Japan bonds? What's the liquidity like there? Good for scalping? Uzi Knesset says, I think it is.
You think it's worth it purchasing the lifetime license for NinjaTrader? I don't know, man. That's a hard choice. I think if you're really serious about trading, that in the long run, the lifetime license is going to be better.
Uzi Knesset says, I did it under the impression that I'll always come back to this regardless as to what happens.
Yeah, I got you. Plus, NinjaTrader is a great platform. And I have to say, and if there's one thing that I could say about platforms, it's this. Go to the platforms that are consistently changing and doing new things.
IQ says, I am interested in their ATM.
Right? The thing that bothers me about Sierra charts.
Uzi Knesset says, like, if you're the kind of person who will give up after blowing an account or something, then no, it isn't worth it. But if this is something you'll always try, then yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. So the thing that bothers me about Sierra charts is that they're mostly copying things from other people, and like their whole thing is copy everybody else's software and then offer
Ace
a
Trade
better,
says short 3087.25.
a cheaper, a cheaper price structure. Essentially, you don't have to spend as much upfront. You only spend like $30 a month, and that's their strategy.
Michael XC says they are implementing user requests.
Yeah, that could be. But when I look at Jigsaw and NinjaTrader, I see a platform that is created by traders, and they know without even having to talk to the users what are new things that they
IQ says
can
had
do.
Sierra and Ninja.
They're introducing things that a lot of us never even
Michael
considered.
XC says Sierra Charts is great because it won't crash on you unless you open a ton of chart books or slow down when lots of data is coming in.
Well, it is stable. I have to say, and that's another thing is on the stability front. That's not an edge that they're going to have on everybody forever. I think.
Michael XC says Sierra greater than Ninja, Jigsaw greater than Sierra for Dom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Ninja has the worst DOM. Ninja has the worst. They really need to do something about their DOM. Now that Jigsaw has their own platform, I think that they should be free to improve their DOM, and that's the next thing that they should do. If I was them, I know that they had a lot of vendors that were on the thing, in particular Jigsaw. But now anybody that wants a Jigsaw DOM, they're just using DayTrader, so they might as well fix their DOM.
Ace Trade says bad trade. Michael XC says no, I mean Sierra as a platform is better than Ninja, just not as pretty.
Yeah. Well, it's not as pretty, and that's another thing that bothers me about Sierra is that Sierra looks to me...
Uzi Knesset says you have to be careful not to get caught up chasing trading technology.
Well, sure, that's true too. Sierra looks to me like it was written by a computer geek that is not necessarily a trader. And it just shows in there's all of these menus that could be completely rethought and done so much more simple. Because a lot of these people, listen, a lot of traders, they're in their 40s. That's when you have the money to do this. They aren't computer people. And even I'm a serious computer person, and I'm really good at just figuring things out. And even I had a little bit of trouble finding the settings and stuff that I wanted within Sierra charts, right? So that's kind of my take on them. It's not like a killer. It's not like I wouldn't use them
says you'll never have a technological solution that'll give you an edge over institutions.
Wow, that's true.
Platforms and tech are about what is comfortable for you as an individual IMHO.
But I still like to see new stuff.
IQ says Uzi, are you long ZB?
I'm really excited for the stuff that Jigsaw does when they
Michael
do new
XC
things.
says Sierra Charts has a learning curve, but once you are used to it, then it is fine.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says at IQ not yet.
So they're kind of doing something here. I don't know if they're going to continue up or not. This is a potential turn, and it's super sketch. It's super sketch to me. I can see that the bid is still strong in the 10-year.
Uzi Knesset says at IQ I don't have faith in a break of the overnight high just yet.
There's definitely an increase in level 2 activity here. There was an iceberg around 10.5. There's a click. The 5-year seems to be trying to sell really hard, and there's a huge iceberg there. So I'm a little weary about that. But it might give us a good trade here, so let's pay attention.
IQ says ATM momentum is up ZB.
Trading floor audio 8 minutes ago. Heads up. Could Germany be preparing to release some short-term stimulus measures? Schultz, we shouldn't expect large-scale tax reductions. If necessary, crisis measures to be focused temporary. All forecasts show next year's growth better than this year's. This is not a crisis. And that could create buying pressure. Okay. Makes sense. 5K iceberg at 10.5, that's a lot. I think that is too many for me to try and fade this. Yeah. Well, like you saying, at the moment, the momentum is up in CP. There's spikes, right? So when you get a push like that, there's always a chance that it's either going to turn around there or it's going to go 2 ticks and it's going to turn around. Or it means that the buyers really is serious and we're just going to trend up all day. So if this doesn't, so then we have to kind of look at everything else to try and figure out what's going on. Well, the bid still looks really healthy. See?
IQ says buy at sweet spot ZB.
The bid looks really healthy in the 10-year. Well, probably even in the 5-year, right? A very healthy bid in everything. Okay. But we're getting a ton of selling here. Cumulative delta selling massive at 10.5. And there are gigantic icebergs. 5K is a pretty big iceberg for this context. Pretty big iceberg on both sides here. That's a recipe for a flip, but probability wise, I don't know. If they were to get, below 10 and 9.5, then yeah, this could like run. Or not run, but it could flip. But otherwise, they seem to be suggesting that they want to run higher. I'm kind of tempted to buy it. Let's just wait and see here. The 5-year, well, let's reset it to here. The 5-year is showing the weaker is the offer. So there aren't in agreement. The 30-year is iceberging on the 18, which is interesting as well. So there could be some sort of a spread trade going on here, causing all this behavior. Okay. So they both of these ticked up.
Uzi Knesset says this is kinda odd because my session template is custom but 18 is a 200 session MA in ZB.
By the way, I don't think I ever loaded my levels, did I? So let's check that out because that might matter here. Okay, we're just below the opening range low. Okay, so my experience here on that has been that it's not uncommon for them to pierce the opening range low and then reverse. So I should probably hold off on making a move here. In fact, we might need to wait until after the E-mini opens. It's a little disappointing, but okay, they ticked back down. It's still a big spike in the 5. Okay, they take 10.5 easy. Okay. Now a strong offer at 11. So this is playing out the way that I would hope for a short.
IQ says opening range trading refer to Dalton.
Yeah. But they might. Okay, so one of them pulled at 11. Okay. Good. I think we got some edge here. Nope, maybe not. A little bit. Enough for me if I was really concerned about it to get out. What is changing? So some asks came off. Big one got put on at 11 though. Some clicky. They gonna buy the E-mini up? It It's so tense, you guys all went quiet now. Hey, look there, that 10. But 09.5 has 35 on it.
Uzi Knesset says oof.
Oof. Kind of looks like there is a little bit of support here at 10. Like, the sellers are not going for it there.
Uzi Knesset says Q90 at the day's open at 17 and not filled on offer lol.
So you tried shorting it there? Well, when I took it short there, I was kind of thinking
Uzi Knesset says I tried lol.
This is an Uzi play, so that you tried is comforting to me. And now some iceberging at 10.5, but they're trying. So kind of the thing that
Uzi Knesset says it may be a sign that I didn't get filled. I pulled it lol.
Yeah. Well, so there being an iceberg there is good, but they could have taken 10 and they didn't. So is there not enough short-term players on the wrong side of this for it to go down? I don't know. And they're still kind of playing it kind of flaky, like it could go either way here. But we definitely at least caught the edge, which is good. Like you catch the edge and then they're iceberging on your price, that's really good. That 30-year definitely looks like it wants to turn down. Okay, so there's a bit of an iceberg there at 10, yeah. Yeah, okay, but they take it. Nobody hitting into 09.5 yet, and there's 3,000 on that one. Okay, some clicking there. They put something on the inside bid. Okay, that's good. Click on the tick up. The ask pulled at 10.
Luis Alarid says S3094 or 3082 long and short of it.
Okay. The way that pulled, it could still be in our favor. I don't know. But I don't like that nobody traded into 09.5. I would really like to see the chart show that they traded into it, Like the robots seem really scared about something.
Uzi Knesset says big absorption ONT he bid at 15 in ZB.
I see that, yes. Might have to scratch this, guys. Now we're getting another event? We are.
IQ says, and what does that signal? Lol. Uzi Knesset says that's the kind of thing that woulda got me out of that short-headed filled.
Right.
Winstanzamom says 21 watching now, winner winner chicken dinner. Please hit like and watch your wheel of fortune go round and land on lucky.
Like now in 5 seconds, because you've been visited. We've been visited
Uzi
by money
Knesset
pitching,
says
guys.
at IQ signals GTFO lol.
I couldn't find the...
Luis Alarid says long cable crude and footsie ATM.
Notice that they didn't put a whole lot on the offer when they ticked down. I think I would have liked to have gotten the 1 tick out of it, but I did okay on that trade, I thought. I think that the whole setup there was okay. They are buying the E-mini. I mean, it does look like it could be a short still, but when I take a turn like that,
IQ
you know.
says set there's 2T and ZB. Uzi Knesset
Yeah, you
says
could've
everything
gotten
looks good till it doesn't lol.
Yeah, it's well, like that's the whole thing is like, okay, we're coming, it's turning, it's coming down, we get a tick, they don't take 09 half, and then it ticks back up. If that was like a really good turn there, then what you would expect to see is to see it come down. And it may be the case that the market maker saw that there was a turn there and that's why he turned it, but there doesn't appear to me to be institutional interest in going short here. At least not yet.
Uzi Knesset says I am expecting some fanfare at 20 and ZB.
You think that if they get to 20 that they'll be a little what? Might be some people upset.
IQ says learn, believe, trust, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. But I think that that's one of the mistakes that I've been making lately is that I catch an area, and when it doesn't go, I try and wait.
Uzi Knesset says just a little battle lol.
Like I would still be long, I would still be short here, waiting for them to squeeze me out. You know, and it really looks like he's gonna squeeze it up. I mean, that was some squeezing there at 11.5. I don't think that all 1,500 of the people that bought there wanted to. But that doesn't mean that they're going to make it past 12, though. And
Base
in fact,
trade says long 3089.00.
I think I like that one, actually.
Popularity Matters says I trust my stop.
Trust your stop. Yeah, when I take a stop, I want it to be -2, not -4. And the whole thing, I'm looking there like, look, I got short 10.5. I would be getting -2 right now. And maybe you hold on.
Uzi Knesset says ZB is still contained in the IB for the moment, so could be messy.
Maybe you hold on because there's a chance that they still turn down. But then they're going to squeeze it to 12 and 12.5, and then you're screwed, right? So that's why I take it that's why I play it the way that I do.
IQ says UPTGT 23ZB.
Now, with all that said, the E-mini does appear to have some long volume going into it. And if it continues and follows through, is the Treasury still really actually going to continue to buy? That would be contradictory. Also, the 6J has, when you look at the 6J, let me show you. You look at the 6J, bottom left, very clear uptrend. Like that one is like, you don't want to fight that one. So who knows?
IQ says big NR at 24.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a slip higher there. It wasn't a ton of volume, but like somebody came in and bought like 600 and pushed it up.
Uzi Knesset says always get absorption on both sides in the IB trying to fake me out lol.
Yeah, but look, they did take it 11.5 bid.
Ace Trades says maybe take the point, getting close to open.
The 90. I really liked that they had that sweep though. We got 10 minutes.
Uzi
What?
Knesset says ZB talkin' buys on the chin at 18.
Yeah, 976 is a lot. Hmm. Wouldn't actually have gotten filled at a point. Okay, so ZB did hold that 18. See, it looks to me like that the treasuries seem to be reacting to the upticks in the E-mini. So E-mini took a tick up there, and a couple of guys sold into 11. That
Uzi
40 and
Knesset
a
says it's a
quarter is
low risk short
flickering a
at the
lot.
very least, 2 tick stop. But too close to open so I won't mess with it.
Does kind of still look like a good short, doesn't it?
Luis Alarid says war zone battle in Chinese University of Hong Kong now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh wait, Warzone battle in Chinese University.
Uzi Knesset
That's
says at
different.
Luis Alarid I saw that. Stuff's bad over there.
I saw that there was a shooting of there was some sort of a like a chemical attack or something in a school in mainland China. Okay.
Uzi Knesset says didn't some students get gassed or something?
Hong Kong protest violence brings city to brink of total breakdown, police say.
IQ says at Uzi you looking to short ZB?
Hmm. Treasuries are speculating higher again. I'm watching that 83 and it's not changing. Oh, somebody put one in and pulled it just for me. Thanks.
Uzi Knesset says nah I was saying 18 to 17 was a good spot for a low risk short if one were so inclined lol. I
And
am not
now
in a trade yet so you can tell I am conflicted over here lol.
now that 11.5 is trying to put pressure on. Hmm. Some pulling at 12, in fact.
Uzi Knesset says at IQ I'm with you, momentum is definitely up but being stuck in the IB has me back and forthing it.
The thing is that on that short that I had, if it had given me 3 or 4, I think I would have taken the profit. So I would expect to see a lot of two-way trade. And you're still, I mean, buying it is super tough here, right? There's just a lot of things above us that they would have to go through to really take your profit on the upside. The risk reward just does not look very good.
IQ says they're 3 plus T and ZB lol.
Yeah. Well, and 18 did go bid that time too, right? And there's Big Iceberg on the offer at 12.
Uzi Knesset says yeah if I were long lower, I'd be super thrilled. Buying up here leaves too much to be desired on the downside lol.
Yeah. The way it's going though. They kind of seem to be suggesting that they're just going to continue. I don't know. If they turn around, it will be like really sudden.
IQ says pulling to 22.
See nobody hitting 11.5 now. It's too close to the E-mini open, but I'm tempted to do something here. I don't know why. Jim Dalton Trading says the president speaks at 12 Eastern Time. The market has grown accustomed to a positive market reaction. The more we get positive comments without detail, the more guarded I become. The president could also stick to a hardline position. I don't know. Well, while we're
IQ
waiting,
says 17 equals PP.
the PP, huh? Wait, what is the PP? Previous point of control?
Uzi Knesset says okay that sounded funny lol. IQ says pivot point. Uzi Knesset says pivot point.
Oh, pivot point. Okay. Well, there's always weird stuff at 16, right? Anyways, I was going to say, while we are waiting for the E-mini to start up, now would probably be a good time to hit that like button. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Winston Zamam says there's a surgeon, an architect and an economist. The surgeon said, look, we're the most important. God's a surgeon because the very first thing God did was to extract Eve from Adam's rib.
I think I've heard this one before, but I don't remember how it ends.
Winston Zamam says the architect said, no, wait a minute, God is an architect. God made the world in 7 days out of chaos. The economist smiled, and who made the chaos? Michael XC says do the likes get reset every day?
The likes on the video get reset every day because it treats every day like a new video.
Luis Alarid says fear of death to many students, including American students, is real, calling for international help.
Well, I mean, international...
Ace Trade says that Win stands a mom cute. Lol.
Oh, no monkey needs to be added to regulars again. He keeps making a different account. Just register on the Discord. Hey guys, if you're not on the Discord, I would highly recommend you get on the Discord. And if you want to talk to me personally, Discord is probably the best way to get a hold of me. I posted
Popularity Matters says, I think this is the end for Jimmy Carter, disappointed face.
Oh no. Oh man. No, I posted our video about why day traders should trade futures on the one of the Facebook groups for traders. And every time that I do that, I get a ton of people try and message me on Facebook, which is totally cool. Like, I'm in a position right now where I can talk to people. I know a lot of people that stream that they get too much stuff and they can't handle it. But I'm in a position where I can totally answer questions and help people out and talk. But the best way to do it is on Discord, not Facebook. Because on Facebook, it wants you to add friends, and I don't actually even see that you sent me a message until it's too late, and like the whole thing is just really dumb. And I can't go through and vet every little profile that shows up as whether I want to add them as a friend.
Popularity Matters says, I responded to you in Discord about that post.
Oh yeah. Where was that? Yeah. Oh, we were saying the cons is we can't use market scanners like stock traders to look for companies that might run for the day. It's totally true.
Winstanza Mom says, PM, I think you may be right. Jimmy is ready, and I only hope Mrs. Carter will be okay. We once ran into Billy Carter, holding a Billy beer, in a Waffle House. Funny guy. President Carter is a good man.
Do you know that even at his old age, that when last time he was in the hospital and he got out and he went right back to building houses for Habitat for Humanity? Like that's his thing. That's what he does. I say what you will about whether he was a good president or not. That guy was a good guy. Interesting. So on the open, quite a bit of selling.
Popularity Matters says, yeah, he's a good dude.
He's a trucker.
Popularity Matters says, yep, he's a trucker.
Excuse me. Anyways, what was I thinking? Oh yeah. So every day's stream is treated by YouTube like a new video. So if you give it a like, that helps us out. If you go back and watch the video again, that helps. What I will do is I will get to work and I will start the stream in the background and just turn the volume down.
Luis Alarid says, great smile, JC.
Okay, so they took 12 and an iceberg, and the E-mini is selling. And I'm tempted to sell it, but there is some support below us. But the way that the treasuries are trading this up off of that makes me really want to buy. It's kind of a messy uptrend, though, isn't it?
Popularity Matters says, I'm of the opinion that we haven't had a bad president. Our system is set up so that a monkey couldn't ruin our nation. The system is set up to maintain the status quo. Deep state has a purpose.
Deep state has a purpose. Oh, that's an interesting take on it. You know, there was an article yesterday. I think it was in the New York Times. I could be wrong, though. But they were saying, you know, this whole thing shows the problem isn't that people were undermining the president. The problem was that they had to, basically saying that the president's behavior was so erratic that they had to do things to kind of prop up the administration and prevent it from collapsing in on itself is kind of the take that they're taking. I think that's total bullshit. Listen, the president is the president, And if the president says that we need to withhold military aid from Ukraine or whatever the deal is, then that's the end of it, guys. Like, I think that the impeachment inquiry thing is likely to fall flat on its face for that reason alone.
Michael XC says doesn't matter who is in power, the US will still bomb the shit out of weak countries.
Hey, that's a good.
Winstanzamom says I flew as a crew member on an EC-135 and Jimmy Carter's former crew chef flew with us. That man could cook. He was a gentle giant of a man who only told good stories about his president.
Yeah, but I do think you're right that, well, I mean, the thing is I think that most, let me finish my other thought first, right? With the deep state thing. Like, I think that by removing the president,
Popularity Matters says I agree with, and it has been said for 2 to 3 years. Outside of Ukraine, he was coming up with awful and illegal ideas that they had to walk him down and work behind him.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. I'm almost certain Donald Trump has ADHD. So what's happening is that will come to his mind and he can't help but blurt it out. But part of the reason that Donald Trump has been so successful in his life is that he's been able to see the big picture, and because he's able to get good people working for him. And so, they work it out and they say, hey, actually, no, you can't do that. And then they don't do that and it's okay. And a lot of people freak out about this whole thing when that happens, but it's not a big deal.
Winstanzamom says I wonder how much Trump knew about Rudy's misadventures overseas and the apparent cash grab and scam Rudy appears to have been running. Aaron Burr once was a good man. America's mayor, sigh. Ace Trades says ADHD is the least of his problems. Popularity Matters says yes, Seth. He for sure has ADHD.
I almost
Winstanzamom says Ace Trades yes. Luis Alarid says treason word of the day, many are fearing for their lives.
That came back down really quickly in the treasuries. I can almost guarantee you that when he's out of office, like a few weeks after he's out of office, there will be a big story that says that he had ADHD and that he was taking Adderall the whole time. I bet you. I bet. Because he almost certainly has it. It's so obvious. And every time that I see a story that's like he's impulsive and he's narcissistic and all of these psychologists saying all of these things, I'm like, you must not be that good of a psychologist. Because if you were, you would recognize the signs of ADHD right away. But these are people that aren't really familiar with it, I guess. And they don't see it.
Says I disagree. He put bad people in office. It has been a revolving door. Popularity Matters says Seth 100%.
But anyways, think about if they remove him if he actually gets removed for this. Okay. Now it's one thing if there really was like bribery.
Popularity Matters says he does have NPD as well as ADHD.
But there's this whole thing about they didn't like his Ukraine policy.
I agree that ADHD helped him in his real estate and media career.
Yeah. This whole thing about they didn't like his
says in TP. Michael XC says I think he must have been pressured to put Bolton in.
Well, that might be true. But this whole thing about they didn't like his Ukraine policy. Like, really, when you look deeper at this is really the reason that this started was because they sacked the Ukraine ambassador, and a lot of people are butthurt about that. Okay, so if he gets removed for that, think about the precedent that you're setting. The precedent that you're setting is essentially that the deep state is really in charge of this country, and the president better be careful about what he says, or else they're going to come after him. And I'm just saying, do you really want the CIA to be in charge of the country? It's not. And so for that alone, I think you will find when this gets to the Senate and they start kind of digging into this sort of a thing, there's no way that they're going to prosecute him for it for that reason alone. Even if it turns out that he really had corrupt intent with his policy. It's simply because there is significant danger in setting a precedent that federal workers should undermine the president if they don't like his policy. You get what I'm saying? Okay, let's read these.
Winstanzamom says he clearly shows signs of Adderall abuse. The kids online know it. I also wonder if he is perhaps dyslexic or has a reading disability. Some say his hair growth pills affect his cognitive functions. Popularity Matters
never
says
heard
he will
that.
never be removed. He saved the Republican Party. Popularity Matters says Trump's Ukraine policy has been awful. Popularity Matters says we want a policy where we have a major check on every branch of government. Uzi Knesset says hey look at that 20 winking face. Popularity Matters says presidents are not kings. Ace Trade says at Popularity Matters we do, we have checks and balances. Popularity Matters says lol.
But they're not kings for sure, but when it comes to foreign policy, they have
Winstanzamom says I think Nikki Haley is making a bid for VP.
You think so? Well, that story with Nikki
Uzi
Haley is
Knesset
interesting,
says Orange
isn't
Man
it?
bad.
Isn't it interesting that she said that she saw people
Michael
undermining
XC
him?
says Trump has an ego but he obviously does things to get people worked up. CNN is the reason Trump won the election.
Well, yeah, because what he does, what the thing with ADHD is it makes it difficult to control your impulses. Okay, and if you are a person that is extremely high in conscientiousness, which is that you're going to be very sensitive to other people and how things might appear and all of this stuff. When you make if you're at work and you make a little mistake that in the end doesn't really matter, but then, for some reason somebody is really upset about it and they really try and punish you for it, whatever. Who is it that's doing that even though it doesn't really matter? It's the conscientious person, you see? And so Donald Trump triggers conscientious people. And the problem is that a lot of very high conscientiousness people are Republicans. And that's why such a large portion of the Republican Party hates him. It's because they can't stand that part of his personality, right? But because he has that, he's able to push through on things that nobody else would be able to get done. That's what probably drives him nuts the most.
Michael
right?
XC says he also triggers self-righteous people on the left.
Yeah. So all of the conscientious people are like, he's not doing what he's supposed to, and he still
Popularity Matters
wins.
says he isn't an expert. He bought into a conspiracy theory. Then his personal lawyer got in bed with these criminals who wanted to push another company over Burisma, SPLLNG. These guys were all corrupt.
Well, he bought into a conspiracy theory, maybe, but here's the thing. I mean, have you actually proven? I'm just saying. Look,
Uzi Knesset says TRAGGERED.
Triggered. This Joe Biden's kid. How much money was he
Jonathan
making?
says no one can deny the Chinese people their ultimate rights. All hail the Communist Party.
Guys.
Winstanzamom says consider how worked up America is when they watch certain shows like Fox or MSNBC. Then when he watches TV, he gets conspiracy theory upbeat like my old relatives.
I really want to
like
make
my mother.
I really want to do something up in here, but I'm not sure what the deal is. They might not actually go up. They might turn here. I don't know.
Uzi
And even
Knesset
he's
says
fine.
oh shit.
Oh shit. Listen, Hunter Biden was getting paid more money than I'm ever going to have for doing jack shit. All right? Listen. What was going on there was they were doing something corrupt. I guarantee it. You don't pay Joe Biden's son millions of dollars for nothing. You don't, okay? And yeah, there's something that I think is worthy of investigation. You can call it a conspiracy theory. Sure, it's a conspiracy theory. But that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be investigated. And that's the problem, is that Donald Trump has every reasonable reason to want to see that investigated. You can say that it's a conspiracy theory, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't investigate it. That's just a really lame reason to not try and find out the whole truth. And like, hey, guess what? If you're right, then they investigate it and they won't turn up anything. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing that it was like this corrupt thing is like, no, if Donald Trump thought that Joe Biden and his son were up to something corrupt, he has an obligation to ensure that it's looked into. He has an obligation. Okay. Now, it's different. Okay, and that's the thing. If you actually think that he believes the conspiracy theory, then the impeachment case falls apart. Okay. So the only way that you're going to be able to get this for an impeachment case is because He doesn't really think that Joe Biden is up to anything. He just wants them to say that there is an investigation because he knows that that will hurt Joe Biden. Okay, that's how you possibly impeach him. You get what I'm saying?
Popularity Matters says, I like that Trump is a loudmouth
Read
a-hole,
them.
but I think Steve Bannon is the mastermind behind Trump.
No,
I like the basics of his
Bannon
ideas,
is gone,
although I
long
am
gone.
more of a indie centrist with socially lib beliefs. Michael XC says, yes, that's the big story, but seems to be ignored. Uzi Knesset says, well, Seth, next time make sure you're born into a political empire and you won't be poot. Simple.
Exactly.
IQ says, bribe thief. Popularity Matters says, yes, Hunter was getting the daddy benefit. The conspiracy theory wasn't Hunter getting the daddy benefit. The conspiracy theory is that Ukraine had the servers. The servers, that is the conspiracy.
Well,
Uzi Knesset says they're all corrupt and the ensuing chaos in government is just everyone trying to cover their asses, lol. Ace Trade says, so glad we dodged a disaster with those emails, phew.
Woo. I'm telling you what, there is something fishy about those servers.
Popularity Matters says Bannon is gone, but he created the platform that Trump ran on.
So being somebody that's involved in technology and knows a little bit about the security stuff, that CrowdStrike just came in and said,
Winstanzamom says, muddying the waters. This is Hillary 2020, muddy the waters in shades of Roger Stone, the dirty trickster with Nixon between his shoulder blades. Bannon is all ENTJ, lol.
that CrowdStrike came in and just said, oh, it was the Russians, and then didn't really give any real evidence as to why to prove it. I think it's highly suspicious. Okay. Now, there might be information that they have that they use to identify it as the Russians, and they don't want that information to be public. That might be the case of why it is, but it's just really fishy that they don't give everybody the full story, and then they didn't let anybody else look at the servers. And then another thing that really bothers me is that media on several occasions has purposely conflated different hacks against each other. So they'll intentionally conflate the Podesta hacks with the DCCC hacks, right? Maybe the government has some real evidence that the DCCC hacks was done by Russians because they intercepted communications that said that they were doing it, sure. But we have no clue how they got the Podesta stuff. It looks to us that, or at least according to WikiLeaks, they said that it was an insider, right? So that whole thing, I can guarantee you, it might not be a conspiracy. It's probably not going to be the conspiracy theory or the truth that Donald Trump supporters think or hope that it is. But I'm telling you, there's something about that whole server thing that we don't know. They're not telling us. I guarantee it. Because from a security perspective, from what I've seen, it does not match up.
Jonathan says Hillary not do nothing wrong.
Hillary not do nothing wrong.
Popularity Matters says Biden and his son were wrong, and so is Trump. I think all of them are bad. Live Action says isn't Hillary being investigated again? Popularity Matters says yes, but Trump bought into the idea that somehow the servers were in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says, personally I think it's jolly good that foreign election interference was everyone's hemorrhoid for the last 3 years and now 2020 rests on Ukraine LMAO. Ace Trade says, oh look, there is 2 points. Michael XC says, if the left media prints it, it's always the Russians.
Wish I could have held on to that buy, but that sell at the beginning was pretty hard. Well, so what has happened in the treasuries? What is happening in the treasuries is we had a pretty strong trend up, and now they are distributing around 11.5. So this is a situation that I have no probability. I can't tell what it's going to do. What I can see is that the spikes are becoming less and the activity is becoming less. I don't know if that favors it going long again or not. I suspect that the reason that they're holding back, though, is because the E-mini looks really strong right now. Yeah. So listen, though, here's the thing. If Donald Trump believes that there's servers in Ukraine and then they don't end up being there, then so what? That's the thing that I find incredibly weird and almost suspicious. is that if the president believes a conspiracy theory and then they look into it and they find out that there's nothing to it, then no harm done, right? Why is that a big deal? It's not a big deal. People are telling us this is a big deal, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's read these ones.
Michael XC says if the left media prints it, it's always the Russians.
It's always the Russians.
Popularity
right.
Matters says we know that Russia hacks and meddles in our politics. The
Well, we
only
do.
one who was afraid to say so is Trump because he didn't want to give any energy to the Russiagate foolishness. Popularity Matters says we should get paid to talk politics versus trading. Popularity Matters says I love that in America that we can go after our leaders. Greg Orlovsky says at Ace yes good trade I was long too. Thought the ES might run for that large 1600 contracts at 3093.25 out of it for now.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, look at how much they're trading up in here, though. Those are some big trades in the E-mini. So the E-mini might flip here.
Greg Orlovsky says Ace 3091.50 quick try for a runner smiley face. Ace Trades says it Greg Orlovsky nice, well done. Winstanzamam says huzzah. Greg Orlovsky. Ekareo says you love the US because you can after your leader as if we can't go after ours. Popularity Matters says the issue is holding aid, demanding Ukraine to make public statements about Biden, the Giuliani gangster energy company scam.
If the E-mini turns down here, then it's a really good short. I don't know if it's actually going to do it, but with all of that volume trading
Greg
there,
Orlovsky says hi win. Thank you.
Popularity
Matters says I don't know where you live Ekareo.
Let's look here. Let me explain this. This situation in the E-mini is really interesting. Okay. I have to show you. Okay, so here's some big orders going on through here, right? Okay. So definitely something's happening in this particular area. You can see here on the Vista chart, nothing down here. Okay, a couple of orders down here, but nothing big deal. Okay. Now, come over to here. Come over to the chart and look at my chart. Okay. So here there was on the way up on this particular bar right here, a lot of level 2 activity, right? Suggesting a lot of people placing orders, but nothing. And then after that, big guys placing orders. So this high amount of volume trading around 3093 is large players. Large players, but it's impossible for me to determine which way it's going other than that the cumulative delta is going up. So we have a situation where the big players are doing something here and not the small players. And so if it goes, you're probably going to have a ton of retail chasing it. If that makes sense. The Trump baby stabber faces felony charges for popping a balloon. Yeah, well, it is. I think that they're applying the law correctly there. Maybe they're being a little bit aggressive, but yeah, I see that in the Donald Trump subreddit. There's kind of this weird dichotomy. Some people want to say like that's a great job and praise the person, but then everybody else is like, no, it's private property. We don't do that sort of a thing. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch them. Kind of fun to watch them. Could be the 3100 day. I don't know. So if that 3093 was reloading to go higher, then it's a great trade, isn't it? I suppose if we get another I suppose if we get another long signal in here, we could take that. Although the treasuries... So, like, here's the thing in the treasuries. Okay, they are trading 09.5. Still pretty, like, nonchalant about it.
Popularity Matters says you missed where OT get in that move. That is just a wishful pre-breakout or failed breakout.
Yeah, it could be. The treasuries are... The way the treasuries are behaving, I would advise a little bit of caution. The treasuries moved down, but there's not a lot of activity as it's done so. They don't care that it came back down here. And that's just all incredibly odd. It could be a strong move down, but it'll flip out.
Winstanza Mom says PM I must be hungry. I read your comment as wishful breakfast and failed breakfast. I wonder what leftovers we have, or should I go all oatmeal? What's on your gym schedule today, Seth?
Oh, Tuesday
Popularity
is off
Matters
day.
says Trump came to my city and gave a good speech for the black Trump supporters. Popularity Matters says it is my life goal to go to a Trump rally with a red hat on.
No, there you go. So Tuesday is no gym. No gym day. I think today I got some wooden stuff in my garage for a platform, so I might set the platform up tonight. I don't think the kids are going to be around, so I think that would be a good time to do that, especially before it gets bitter cold, because it's going to get super cold out there. And then I need to go and find a good heater for my garage. But we've been doing a squat program, so last night I did 6 sets of 4, which is a lot of squats at 80% of my max, which was pretty brutal. Okay, this is it right here. I'm just gonna put you guys on blast here for a second because I don't have a whole lot to say. I just kind of want to watch this.
Winstanza Mom says PM did you go to the rally? I know someone who went to go a rally and he simply walked into the back door and mingled. Probably can't do that now. Greg Orlovsky says Trump speaks today? About what, please? Popularity Matters says I need a power cage but I'm putting it in my upstairs office. My garage is too small and cold to lift in. Michael XC says what do you think of that Pete something workout method where you do only 1 to 2 reps or something like that? Popularity Matters says I've been reading about weight-bearing code. Live Action says remind me bros on Bond's floor guy on MTS as a power lifter too.
Bros on Bond's floor guy is a power lifter? I don't know who that is. Maybe can you give me a on Discord, give me a link or something? Or what do I search for? Bros on Blondes.
Live Action says yes.
I have to look it up.
Winstanza Mom says Joe Rogan has a good channel. He talks health and nutrition and woohoo voodoo intellectual dork web stuff, but he has good advice for guys who gym.
Dark web stuff. That's funny. I've been taking a new protein called niter protein, and I don't know if it's actually the protein or something else, but I've had a lot more energy and
Live
I'm
Action
recovering
says
better.
that's it, bros on bonds on YouTube.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll search for it. Bros on bonds. I'm surprised that I've never heard that before. Okay. This one's a little, I don't know. Okay. So the robot is buying it there at 09.5 and keeping it bid. I don't like that I did that. Should be like that. And it's in the same
Popularity
spot,
Matters
but
says he's a chartist.
I don't want OCO on there, and I don't want as soon as I get filled to show
Luis
them where I put
Alarid
my
says the
target.
Israeli Air Force just struck the opening of an Islamic Jihad underground terror tunnel in #Gaza. They plan to use it to attack Israeli civilians.
That's interesting.
Live Action says he had some good videos years ago, but I think they took them down.
Oh, why would they take them down? Ooh.
Michael XC says my friend recommends arginine, citrulline and beta-alanine for fast recovery and power.
Yeah. So the thing about the niter protein is that they have the BCAAs or whatever, but they have like the perfectly
Popularity
balanced
Matters says
profile.
arginine but will make you horny.
And then they also have a digestive enzyme in it. So your body absorbs the protein very quickly. Okay, the E-mini is just going and going and going. But that was an aggressive flip there in the treasuries. At least at 9.5 and 10. You know, for some reason they're not going for 10.5. The 5-year is ticking up though, 03 and 3/4.
Popularity Matters says dude why don't you trade S? Live Action says for best recovery add raw egg and Virgin Mary. Greg Orlovsky says bros is his last name. He was a floor trader in bonds. He has an expensive live day trade site. He writes a lot of levels.
Well, I will take trades in the E-mini from time to time. I mean, I did put an order there in the MES, right? Okay, that came back up really aggressive. I think I might want to.
Popularity Matters says Greg I like pit intelligence of over bros. He is also a former floor trader. Luis Alarid says at one point chocolate milk was touted for recovery.
I really admire those floor traders. I think that they have some wisdom and knowledge that we will never have, and it's best to try and pry as much out of them as we can before they're gone.
Live Action says I followed him many years ago. He toted some real nice trades.
Okay.
Popularity Matters says I like the pit guys who have gone screen and still make big money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's hard, right? Okay, so there's an iceberg at 11. Hmm. I think that they're messing with me here. See that? 5-year took a step back. The E-mini looks like it might turn around here. Like they really slowed down.
Winstanza Mom says people once believed that whooping cough could be cured by drinking milk that was shared by a business of ferrets.
What?
Ferrets should not drink milk, and I suspect neither should people trying to cure WC.
That's weird.
Popularity Matters says Pitt Intel is one. He trades
yeah?
mostly S for what he calls 2-point scalps. He trades mostly floor pivots to me in a more intuitive form of market auction theory without the tools that profile guys use. Luis Alarid says nice gains in the S so far.
Yeah, the S looks like it's turning though. It really does look like it's turning. That might just be a pullback, but they're turning.
Luis Alarid says took profits in S. Greg Orlovsky says at Popularity Matters. Thank you. I'll check the Pitt Intel later today.
Yeah, maybe after when you see the video come back. So what happens is after we end the stream, then YouTube processes the video and then it'll show back up as a regular video. And then on that regular video, if you could leave a comment to remind me to look that stuff up, and I'll
Live
look it up.
Action says me too.
Okay, so can you see how the E-mini is kind of turning here? So if they get below 30.93, then it starts to get interesting.
IQ says what bros uses some of the same, i.e. 16T pullback, pivot range, etc.
Okay, so the 5-year took that 04.
Popularity Matters says fuck I need more coffee. Greg Orlovsky says at Luis Alarid you two had it long. Great trade, good exit, smiley face.
Ten-year and the 5-year disagree.
Popularity
I'm not
Matters
taking
says
a
I'm no
5
longer
bid.
anti-chart.
I don't think I've ever been anti-chart.
Luis Alarid says S hit November 7th highs.
I think there's a lot of stuff that is really useful that you can read from charts. I just think that if you're not looking at the level 2 and the volume at price, then you're missing half the picture.
Live Action says at IQ that 16 tick thing never worked for me, I must be doing it wrong. Popularity Matters says I no longer call my primary style scalping, I call it market making.
There you go. I like that.
Wrong ZH says him.
Well, I was thinking, I've been trying to think about what can we call chat? What is the brand that we can have for chat? And because I think that we tend to think what we do is scalping, but true scalping is really what the robots do nowadays, It's not quite the same thing. And not only that, but it's not really like, how do you clearly identify it as us? That's why in that video I used the term quote cult.
Popularity Matters says I think chart trading is more about psychology than skill.
Because I feel like that what we do is more like looking obsessively at all of the quotes that are being sent to us and trying to divinate something out of that.
Michael XC says does anyone know a good calendar email alert service? I can never get my FX book to send me news event alert emails.
Nobody's putting a bid or
RFO Trader
offer
says we're
at
not
04.
scalping, we're skirmishing, winking face.
Nobody put a bid or an offer at 04. They bought up the bid and nobody placed at 04. That's unusual.
IQ says today ZB15T range then pullback lol 5 minutes chart.
Okay, now somebody stacked at 04.
Popularity Matters says Seth, but I flip the spread a lot.
Sure. Okay. But can you say quote cult 3 times fast? Quote cult, quote Wait, see, I already screwed it up. See, if we use that, we could make stuff, but then we would never actually say quote cult. It would have to be QC, you know, it'd be like QC Nation or something like that.
Michael XC says, is price delta divergence useful?
I think
Michael
so.
XC says alerts.
I think that when you see a divergence between the delta and the price, you should pay attention for sure. I have been unable to find a probabilistic setup through those, but when you get something like that, it's likely to move.
Popularity Matters says market making is setting a spread. Your personal spread can be tight or narrow, or what is being quoting to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now that was interesting. Where was it? There was a stack on the ask and a bunch of orders hit into 10.5 and it absorbed it. But there was 3,400 at 11 though. That's interesting. The 5-year is messing around with that 04 still.
Live Action says, I saw a HFT video this weekend that claimed HFTs will do 1,000s of trades within a second, grabbing fractions of a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Orlovsky says, yes. I use a 20-tick range chart. Scalp enter long at bottoms, short at tops, if the swings inside the price bar keep failing.
The systems at Goldman Sachs that were used for high frequency trading, we measured the latency through those in microseconds. That's like 1/1000th of a millisecond. Can you believe that? It's a period of time that's so small that we humans can't even comprehend it. Yeah, and they can make a lot of turns. Although a lot of it was, in stocks. Most of it was stocks. Okay, they're gonna take 11.5? Maybe. It seems like the buyer made a little victory there, but they still have some profit takers. And he seems hesitant to just kick them, Look at that, 2,000 at 11.5.
Wrong ZH says, Seth, I think it would be nice if you make video on how to buy garlic coin and keep it in hard wallet and what more.
You know what? I've never actually
Matters
bought
says,
it.
I don't think that HFTs really harm human market makers. We aren't even on their radar. They are playing another game. They just add liquidity. I'm glad that they exist.
Well, yeah, popularity matters. Yes and no. I don't completely agree with that, because I think for any of the strategies that most of us are trying to take, yeah, they're not really harming us. I think that they're largely irrelevant. But there are strategies that if they weren't around that we would be doing that we're not able to anymore. And those strategies are a lot easier. The strategies where it's like you buy into it just as it's going and take one tick. That used to be a really good trade. And now the robots dominate it. You can't compete with them over it. So I think it's safe to say, yeah, robots have made it harder, but robots are not the reason why you're not making money. Yeah? That's where we got to be careful about it, right? Because we always want to blame why we're not profitable traders on some external factors. And the further I go into this, the more people that I see and the more that I watch in myself, the more I believe that if we're not profitable,
Popularity
it's because
Matters
of ourselves.
says, I can do one tick trades. Live Action says, S all NEWTIME highs.
All time new highs. Yes, you're right. Good point. Let's check here.
Luis Alarid says, DAX and FTSE bullish too. Popularity Matters says, it just isn't as easy as in 1980.
Well, I mean, now the split side of that is that if you were doing that strategy, sure, you could be doing that strategy. That doesn't mean that it would be an easy strategy. It's still competitive. It'd still be hard. And, even back in 1980, traders had trouble. Most traders were not profitable. You know what I mean? I don't think that there was ever a time where the majority of traders were profitable, right? It's always been a tough competitive game where not everybody can be successful. And it's just the nature of this market. It's the nature of a pure zero-sum game like futures are.
Popularity Matters says floor traders scalped all day.
They did.
Popularity Matters says they lacked psychological skills. Michael XC says I like how Trump tweets that the economy is great just because the stock market hits new highs.
Well,
Popularity Matters says many just front ran
too.
orders. Michael XC says when we all know what direction it is heading.
Is the direction it's heading up? I don't know. It still seems really unclear to me. Like, I can see there, okay, yeah, we made all new all-time highs.
Wrong
Sure.
ZH says I mean why haven't you yet promoting on the coin and Bitcoin as much as futures?
Um,
Michael XC says direction of the economy.
Hold on. Too many conversations at once. So I haven't been promoting Garlic Coin as strong as the other things because Bitcoin still shows to me that it's too high. And so I'm really concerned about some sort of high risk event occurring in Bitcoin that completely washes everybody's value out. And then if that happens, then after that point, then I would be like, hey, the risk reward is really good. Go for it. But as it is right now, it's a little questionable. Now in Garlic Coin, it's okay because Garlic Coin is so cheap anyways. You're not really spending a whole lot of money. Now the other thing is I just mine it, which is not super complicated. Don't really think that we would need a video for it. But yes. Now, many just front ran orders. Yeah, so like, again, there were strategies that you could do back then that you can't do now, but I'm just saying it doesn't mean that they were easy or that you'd be any more capable of performing those strategies than you would be performing the strategies that work in this market. Okay. You front run an order. The institutions were really good at lying. They would come out and they would lead everybody to believe that they came out there to sell when the reality was they were actually there to buy. They played games with you. They had ways of playing games with you back then, just like they have ways of playing games with you now. Well, I don't like the way this is going, guys. There was a little bit of activity there when we were breaking out at 11.5. And the 040 is offer again in the 5-year. Now this could all change quickly, but we'll start reading you guys.
Popularity Matters says I think that with what we know now, we would be dominant floor traders. Live
Maybe.
Action says at Greg Orlovsky you called the market higher this week last Friday, hope you caught it. Greg Orlovsky says just remember, HFT rules with stocks. Peter Davies has stated that there are not many HFTs in the Amini. Popularity
Right.
Matters says stock market doesn't equals economy but a more speculative outlook and success of companies, not how the AVG person is doing.
I think that Peter is probably right.
Popularity Matters says the only issue is that so would everyone else.
I think that there are probably not a lot of high frequency traders in the E-mini, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of robots. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of, that they're not like edge taking algorithms, for instance, out there. There definitely are. You can totally see them all. But the kind of the high frequency trading that we would do in, that our systems ran at Goldman Sachs are kind of a different beast, because a lot of it had to do with the market being so segmented that you were able to look at the difference between two exchanges and make decisions based off of that, and take a little bit out of the market really quickly. And that's not a thing in futures.
Popularity Matters says algo doesn't necessarily equals HFT. We for sure see them.
Yep. There's definitely robots, though. In fact, I would say probably the majority of the order flow is robots. And some of those robots might even be robots written by retail traders. Because like that technology is available to us. Even those retail
Greg
robots can be
Orlovsky
faster
says
than
high
you.
live action. Yes, caught a few points this morning and in the last 20 minutes of yesterday. Yikes, I got long at 3084 for the standard run up.
Seems to me like the 5-year is in charge here. This 04 just keeps going back and forth. I should probably
Greg
just take
Orlovsky
it here
says
from this
ES.
balance.
End of day has a different dynamic of pace.
Of course, they stack a little bit on me now. They're like, no, he finally decides to take one. No, well, we can't let that happen. You see this nonsense? It's like they watch. I really do believe that some of these algorithms will change based off of one
Popularity
order.
Matters says some of my most consistent trading is at night when the market making algos are practicing price control and catching people on the wrong side of value.
That's why I think that it's that using the auto, like I think you should definitely have something that always puts your stop in. But I'm starting to wonder if having something that automatically puts your target in treasuries is not helpful. I think that you don't want to show your order to them until you're ready to get out. Now they're doing this thing. So that 04 is looking, they're making it look like it's weak, but then it's not going for it. It's like nobody wants to really, it seems like it's too balanced there. Nobody really wants to take a trade anymore. That doesn't mean that they're selling it either, but it seems like people are worried about taking new positions now. It's flickering a lot too. See, it's that 5-year one, it's changing a lot. Well, a couple of orders are hitting it. There's a click. Where was it? It was on the ask. Ooh. Not what I want to see.
Luis Alarid says FYI corn traders happy today.
Some good movement in corn today. That's interesting that when they ticked up, that 5 immediately hit the 10 half. Well, it's getting close to 8:30, so that's part of why I started to take this trade off. But it's kind of all of a sudden feeling like the buyers are on strike or something.
Uzi Knesset says corn pop banked.
It's frustrating because I would have liked to have taken the 4, but that happened too quick. I'm just too slow, man. Sometimes too indecisive, and I really should have done something up there. Okay, now the robots are kind of playing this flippy game. You're still seeing a lot of activity, actually. So I'm seeing it on the 1-minute chart. I'm not. So I guess that just means that it got really icebergy. There's the E-minis just going. Still pushing new highs, huh?
Wrong ZH says at Greg Orlovsky, do you trade anything other than S?
Sucks that I have such a good position there at 10.5 and they didn't hit it.
Luis Alarid says S still rising in FTSE now.
Now it's like really slow. The 5-year might still end up ticking up there at 04.
Popularity Matters says for me S plus ZB plus UB and every blue moon I gamble in crude.
Ooh, crude. Man, if they got micro crude, can you imagine? That one will be weird if they get it. I actually think that they will.
Popularity Matters says MCL would be beautiful. Live Action says they have QM, which is a bit safer than CL.
Let's buy this. Okay. Somebody trying to sell a 5 and it's still holding.
Popularity Matters says MICL.
If somebody could buy out 04 in the 5-year, I would really appreciate it. It looks like we've got some spreading going on. The 5-year, the knob spread might actually be doing something weird. This is not even holding all 3/4. Well, I tell you what, with the way the E-mini is acting, Donald Trump better say the right things at his speech. Because if he comes out and he's hawkish on trade, like, ugh, it's gonna be ugly. This sucks, guys. I really hate stressing about ticks.
Wrong ZH says how about GC ING and VX? Luis Alarid says oil trader told me that it is the most predictable futures contract.
Really?
Popularity Matters says oil is for momentum trading.
Yeah, it is. Man, the stuff that goes on in oil is insane to me. I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't be able to trade it this way, I don't think.
Live Action says this market today will definitely be mentioned in his speech.
I mean, the funny thing is that the market is
Popularity
all super...
Matters says jump on when it is good long or short.
He's probably not likely to say anything super significant, in my opinion.
Winstanza Mom says get comfortable with being uncomfortable, said someone somewhere on a trading page. He probably is in real estate now.
Yeah.
Popularity Matters says oil is a sexy dangerous mistress. Michael XC says sometimes, rarely, it can jump 100 ticks in a matter of seconds.
The thing is I had it good and they just are not. Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me.
Michael XC says or basically instantly.
Fucking god damn it, just fucking clear it. God. Pisses me off so much. Ugh. It's like, I mean, it's not like they're like straight out squeezing, but they're just not clearing it on the buys. And the activity level is so low. Probably by the time I get this out of this, the E-mini is going to turn down and they're going to buy this thing up. They're going to buy this TF. It pisses me off. I really want out. No, the market doesn't hate me. I just got on the wrong side of it, the particular spot. They were quite generous giving me 4, and I just was not able to somehow, because I didn't take it at 4, I had it at 3, couldn't get that, I had it at 2, I couldn't get that. Now I'm sitting here trying to take it at break even, and I might not get that.
Says the market hates you, Seth.
See this shit? Fuck this.
Wrong ZH says wow 30 people's watching. Winstanza Mom says
it's because
olive
I'm
oil.
swearing.
Popeye loves his spinach and his olive oil, but sexy and dangerous, she is not.
It's because I'm swearing. Swearing apparently makes the people watch, but thank you guys for watching, but that was just a really frustrating, poorly managed trade. And now am I going to end up taking minus Q? That's going to piss me off so much.
Popeye forearms with kettlebells.
But they seem determined to make it happen.
Wrong ZH says almost there. Greg Orlovsky says hi wrong ZH, I do trade the ZB.
Look at the cumulative delta too. Somebody's short. See, now they think that I'm out. Did you see when I pulled that? It ticked up. It's not like they somehow they know it's me and all of this sort of nonsense, right? But can one trade end up being the thing that pushes it over the edge and causes them to go one way versus the other way? Yeah. And looks like that it was close enough in that situation that that's where I was at. Probably they would still have come down if it wasn't for I wasn't in there, but I didn't play that right. Another short squeeze sends the S&P over 3,100 for the first time ever. Nah, I don't think they know it's me.
Popularity Matters says they know it is you.
I don't think that they have that data. I don't know if that data actually exists. I've been unable to get straight answers on that. I only know that I can't get that data.
Wrong ZH says cool Greg.
I should have just put my limit order out at the 4.
Winstanzamom says PM, have you tried a downward dog yoga position? The athletes who came to our yoga studio were always surprised at how rough it is to go downward dog. Popularity Matters says they are like fuck Seth.
No. Nope. I had a good trade there and I didn't take it off at 11.5. They left it unfinished, which suggests to me that a seller decided to come in, and this seller is pushing it down and the buyer is just letting him do it. The buyer is just letting him do it. Now he's iceberging at 09. So you see, I should have taken the 11.5 where I could be getting in at 09 again. Maybe playing it. But that whole period, like think about how long we were in there at 10.5. 30 minutes, right? And it was just going back and forth there. No way for me to know where it was. And then at 10, couldn't get filled at 10, couldn't get filled at 9.5. Freaking retarded. Ugh. But I got squeezed. It wasn't like a hard squeeze, but it was just kind of like a slow burn. It was really frustrating. And you can see where I got it. Like I took an average at 09.5. Well, they didn't actually break 08.5. So you can kind of see where it's like as soon as I got out. And that was the interesting thing, was that when I pulled that order, then they ticked up. That's where I'm saying, I'm telling you, you can totally all the time be the one order that's just enough to make the robot do something. You totally can. But it wasn't because they were hunting you or anything. It's just, it's almost random. Almost random. Okay, well, thank you guys. Anyways, only one tick lost. It's no big deal, but it just pisses me off to see that. Like, I knew when it did that and I was getting that upset about it that it was like time to just take a loss. I almost did the -2. But there's nothing you can really do in that situation, is there? If you have that small of a stop. Okay, well, it's time for me to go, I guess. We can post the cryptocurrency notes here first so that we can give it a little bit more time, but see if it turns back up. The thing though is it's unlikely. It's still pretty slow. The indices was today's trade. Yeah. How far did it end up going then, by the way? We were doing... Where was my trade? 3089. So I could have gotten 10 points on it. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a huge deal, but Rung says, well, oh, the robot is the robot done? No, come on. I think maybe the GUI gets like backed up. You were looking at the delta, then got off it. Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is right here. Did that actually look like it was going to go lower? No, it actually kind of looked like they were maybe eventually going to turn up again. But... So what's going on with the robot here? If I could do test, see it. I just missed it. Now it shows up.
Speculator Seth says test.
Weird. Anyways. It sucks just because, but I mean, it did go lower. I should have gotten out of that so much easier. I'm just kind of mad at myself. Like let me explain that again. I knew that 4 ticks was good and that I probably want to take 4. But the way that they were trading up was kind of a little aggressive too, and I thought maybe they were going to push farther. When they came back here, I thought maybe they were going to push up again, but they didn't. And so, you know, that was what I should have done. After that, it was all just noise, you know? And so I'm just mad that I didn't do that, you know? I should practice that, like canceling them on the... Anyways. But I'm sure that it'll probably take that one a couple more times before I learn that lesson. This day and age, it's changing tactics 1,000 times a second. No, but my plan should have been getting out there at 4. I don't know why I was looking for more than that. Is Bitcoin still struggling, or did they pull it out a little bit? I guess the other thing is, as I thought, well, that delta is weird though, isn't it? I did the wrong thing, guys. Like this seller is just really insistent. It's the sun can use our book. Yeah. I usually don't stress over something like this much, but I feel really bad. I'm beating myself up really hard over this one because I knew better, and it was so many times, and I just, I could have taken 2. I would have been really happy. With just 2, it would have been fine. But then instead, I'm -1 and I'm freaking out. I mean, it's not the end of the world, obviously. I've had worse days recently, but come on. You know what else, though? This E-mini thing looks a little... I don't know if they're going to hold this level. If they push all day and they how do I explain these scenarios? I'm spitballing here. If the E-mini goes up and the candle ends up in like this, and they close at the high of the day, maybe there should be some continuation, and then they could fall. Okay. If they come up and they pull back, then maybe we're okay and they can continue to move forward. But we could also get a hard reversal today. The way that it is trading up like that, they could get a hard reversal. But the buyers definitely squeeze some people out. Okay, guys. I feel better now. I will see you tomorrow. And tomorrow should be, we'll have this out of the way. We get some inflation news. I think that we could have some good opportunities tomorrow. So we'll do that. And I will see you then. Stay profitable, friends.